Well, hello. I was making sure it was actually working. I just spent 10 minutes talking and I forgot to hit the button. So, welcome to chapter 10. I am Roger, um, and I am suicidal often, but I am not a professional in the healthcare field or mental health or any of that. So, just putting that out there. Anyway, I was going to speak today on something else. I was going to talk about addictions and my experience with addictions and my mental health. But I'm not going to because this has been a very triggering week. And so I thought I would talk about that instead, and then we'll hit up the addictions next time. There's lots to talk about as far as that goes. So, but I figured since this has been the end of a very, very triggering week, we'd talk about that. And I'll probably say a lot. And I've done it because I haven't scripted anything. I've gone into these videos just with an idea of something to talk about, and it morphs and changes as I speak. So I'm going to try not to say it as much. Whenever I start saying a lot, then I hear myself say and then it makes it worse. Then I do the compound as a way of dealing with the my answer apparently is just to do more of that. So if I catch myself umming, we would just start umming a lot. Anyway, so that if that happens, just bear with me. I'm collecting my thoughts. I'm stalling until I come up with a plan. So, which is really my overall plan for life. So, triggering. Those of you who have special needs children, you're always aware of the needs that they have on an ongoing basis, officially. You know, to receive services, you have to be a part of ISPs and those kind of things. And this week earlier was Josh's, and I was not able to take part of that. And so it was triggering to me in many ways, and I think I've spoke on this. But there were some other things that occurred that also triggered me the following day and then the following day. So that it was a very triggered week. And so, but this isn't as much about PTSD as it is about the general condition when you're triggered. So the way I'd like to say it is that if I had a piece of bungee cord and each end were attached to something, and so you have this bungee cord. And then if I were to say, put a spot on that bungee cord, that this spot is my depression, this spot is my anxiety, this is my PTSD. Now, if any one of them you pick up on it, you raise that spot. So if I'm triggered with my PTSD, and so I pull up my PTSD, since it's part of the same thing, you'll see that the depression raises and the anxiety raises. And so it's really hard. They're all interconnected. So it's really hard just to deal with one specific one. And it's the same if I'm just like drowning in anxiety, and that's raised, well, then my depression, my PTSD are also raised, if that makes sense. So it's not, they all form a cohesive unit pretty much. And so when one has been called to action, they all to a degree have. And so that becomes even more challenging, because it's almost like the anxiety and depression see an open door. And I always try to explain to people my mental illness as another entity, not myself. It's not my brain. It's my enemy. My mind is actively trying to kill me, and use my own hands to do it. So when something happens, like my PTSD gets triggered, then alarms go out to all the other ones too, and says, oh, hey, we have an opening. It is an environment that could be taken advantage of, and it normally does. So now then it becomes about managing the trigger and the what comes after that. So once you're triggered, it's about maintaining it at the lowest level possible, and not letting it gain momentum. And so and for me, being mindful about that is critical, because at the time that it's happening, I don't want to do any. I mean, I want to find a hole, and I want to crawl into it, and I want to stay there until I get the all clear from whoever would give me an all clear at that point. And I don't know who that would be or what that would be, but that's what I want to do. But that does not solve anything. It doesn't help anything. Avoidance is not management. And so, I have to be very aware, but it's hard. I mean, it is difficult to get a handle on. And then my mind tells me the things that I don't need to hear at the time. I don't want to hear at the time, but I'm going to hear it because my mind's going to tell it to me. And that's the worthlessness that is, I'm of zero use in the situation. I'm of zero help. And so my job, that's a loud car. Sorry about that. So then my self-worth suffers, and all these things that happen are playing right into the hands of my enemy, which is my brain. I mean, not technically my brain. It's within my brain that is the enemy. So, it's very frustrating for that, and I really work hard to avoid at all costs situations that put me in these weekend, because at the end of the day, I'm a guy, and I don't like to be weak, and I know that I'm not, but when your worst enemy, and I really do mean worst enemy, because a regular enemy may not know all your faults and all your weaknesses. There's always that arch nemesis, that Bond villain who understands and has done the research and knows the buttons to push and what to say and what to do when weakness is proffered. So, it's it's a hell of a thing. You know, I really relate to villains, you know, as far as that, because when you live with one, you know, there's times when it's like, dang, that's vicious, that's savage, uh, and it's your own brain messing with you. So yeah. How did I get through the time? I stay active. I mean, I don't crawl in the hole. I positive self talk is critical. And even when you don't believe it, which in these times I don't, you know, it's believing that is not something that I, you know, it's not something that's easy, but saying it is important, and not giving in, understanding that for a time you're getting false information. You can't trust what your own brain is saying to you. You have to take it with a grain of salt, understanding the situation that you're going through. So, and I don't know of any real other way. So breathing, you know, mindfulness, meditation, it all sounds great until you're in it, and now you don't want to do it. So, but it's very important. And then just giving it some time, you know, breathing through it, not making any decisions at the moment that would take you further down that hole. And maybe that's the end of the best thing to say is manage where you are in that hole, manage that depth, and understand that you're going to go down the hole a little bit, but a little's fine. Don't give up the ship. Work hard to not. And I don't know what else to say other than, you know, that's there's no easy button. There's no like fast forward where you could just move beyond this uncomfortableness and be somewhere that, you know, you're back to level, back to being more normal. So, yeah, I just want to share that with you. It's super hard, and it just adds to everything else, you know. But with the bad stuff, there's got to be good. There's the force has to balance, and the person who has to balance the force is you. You have to make sure that good stuff is happening, that and when you're able to get a hold on it, you should congratulate yourself. And it feels stupid to say, hey, you did a good job, you got through that, you managed that as best as you can, let's just keep moving forward. Those words are very important to say to yourself. Positive self-talk is something that is important, that you need to hear, because no one else is going to say it, because probably most likely nobody else knows about it. And so how would you get that positive feedback from someone who's not inside your head? Wouldn't happen. So anyway, I appreciate you bearing with me. I know I was going to talk about addiction because that's like super cool and fun to talk about. It's not. I'm being sarcastic, but you know, we'll catch that next time. And I think that's it. I never know when to stop. I have to force myself, or else I'll just keep rambling on, and then the ums will start, because then I'll run out of, that train will derail, and then and then anyway. I appreciate you. I appreciate your willingness to hear me out. And we'll see you next time when you visit the the world's longest suicide note. Take care.